Today, we're exposing 10 haunted train stations they don't want you to visit. From ghostly brides to cursed workers, these locations are crawling with secrets and screams. But be warned, what you're about to see isn't for the faint of heart. These stations are locked, guarded, and shrouded in mystery for a reason. Hit play before they make this video disappear. 1 St. James Station, Sydney. Nestled under Sydney's bustling Hyde Park, St. James Station is one of Australia's oldest and creepiest underground railway stops. Built in 1933, this Art Deco-style station was once a busy hub, but today, its empty platforms, flickering lights, and maze of abandoned tunnels have earned it the nickname Sydney's Underground Ghost Lair. The station closed in the 1990s, leaving behind a dark, dusty shell. Locals say strange things happen here after sunset. Workers have reported hearing phantom train whistles, even though no trains run here anymore. Others claim to hear footsteps echoing in the empty tunnels, as if invisible passengers are still rushing to catch their rides. But the most famous ghost here is the Lady in Red. Legend says she was a 1950s actress who died heartbroken after her lover left her at the station. Visitors have spotted her wandering platform 1 in a flowing red dress, her face pale and sad. Some say she whispers for help, while others swear she vanishes if you get too close. There's also the mystery of the soldier ghosts. During World War II, St. James was used as an air raid shelter. Today, people report seeing shadowy figures in old military uniforms lurking in the tunnels. Security cameras have even captured blurry shapes moving in the dark, but no one knows who or what they are. In 2018, a group of urban explorers snuck into the station at night. They recorded eerie voices saying, "Get out now," and heard loud bangs from empty rooms. One member later said he felt icy fingers grab his shoulder, but when he turned, no one was there. Why don't they want you to visit? The government keeps St. James locked tight, citing safety risks, but paranormal fans believe it's to hide the truth about the ghosts. Authorities deny this, but the station's haunted reputation only grows stronger every year. So if you ever find yourself near Hyde Park at midnight, listen closely. You might hear the faint sound of a train that never arrives, or the whispers of those who never left. 2 Junee Railway Station, New South Wales. Tucked in the quiet town of Junee, New South Wales, this historic railway station hides a dark secret. Built in the late 1800s, Junee Station is known for its grand Victorian architecture. But behind its charming red brick walls lies a spine-chilling connection to one of Australia's most haunted places, the nearby Junee licorice factory. The factory, just a short walk from the station, was once a prison, a military camp, and a mental asylum. Locals believe the tortured souls from its past now haunt the railway tracks. Workers at the station have reported hearing phantom screams at night, even though the factory has been closed for decades. The most famous ghost here is the Lonely Soldier. During World War II, the factory housed prisoners of war. Legend says a young soldier, heartbroken after a failed escape, hanged himself in the factory. His spirit now wanders the railway station, dressed in torn army clothes. Passengers claim to see him staring blankly at passing trains, as if waiting for a ride home. But the soldier isn't alone. Visitors also report spotting a shadow man lurking near the station's old signal box. Some say he was a cruel factory manager who died in a train accident. Others believe he's a prisoner who haunts the area, forever trapped. Security guards have quit their jobs after hearing growls and footsteps in empty rooms. In 2015, a group of paranormal investigators visited the station. They captured a voice on their recorder saying, "Help me, leave this place." Moments later, their cameras stopped working. One investigator swore he was pushed by an invisible force, leaving a bruise on his arm. Why don't they want you to visit? The station is still operational, but access to its oldest sections is restricted. Officials blame safety issues, but locals whisper it's to hide the truth. Tour guides avoid talking about the ghosts, and signs warn visitors to stay away after dark. Yet, the stories won't die. In 2020, a train driver passing through Junee late at night reported seeing a floating figure in military uniform on the tracks. He slammed the brakes, but when he checked, there was nothing there. So, if you ever visit Junee, keep your eyes peeled. You might just spot the lonely soldier gazing at the trains, or feel the shadow man's cold breath on your neck. 3 Adelaide Railway Station, SA standing tall in the heart of Adelaide. This grand 19th century railway station is a masterpiece of Victorian architecture, but beneath its elegant arches and bustling platforms, whispers of the paranormal linger. Adelaide Railway Station is said to be haunted by spirits from its dark past, and their stories will send shivers down your spine. The station opened in 1856, making it one of Australia's oldest. Over the years, it has seen countless travelers, tragedies, and secrets. Staff and passengers have reported hearing phantom footsteps echoing in empty halls late at night. Cleaners swear they've seen shadowy figures darting across platforms, only to vanish when approached. The most famous ghost here is the Lady in Grey. Legend says she was a wealthy woman who died heartbroken in the 1800s after her fiancé abandoned her on their wedding day. Dressed in a faded gray gown, she's often spotted near Platform 1, staring at arriving trains as if waiting for someone. Some claim to smell her rose perfume before she appears, while others hear her sobbing softly in deserted waiting rooms. But the Lady in Grey isn't the only spirit here. In 2019, a security guard reviewing CCTV footage saw a tall, shadowy figure walking through a locked ticket office. When he checked the room, it was empty. The footage went viral, but officials dismissed it as a technical glitch. The station's underground tunnels add to the creepiness. Built during World War II as bomb shelters, these damp, pitch-black passages are now closed to the public. Urban explorers who've sneaked in tell stories of cold spots, ghostly whispers, and the feeling of being watched. One group claimed to hear a child's laughter echoing in the darkness, even though no children were present. Why don't they want you to visit? While the station remains open, access to its oldest sections and tunnels is strictly forbidden. Authorities say it's for public safety, but ghost hunters believe it's to hide the truth. Staff are tight-lipped about the hauntings, and security patrols have increased in recent years. Yet the mysteries persist. In 2021, a commuter waiting for a late-night train filmed a strange mist forming on Platform 3. Seconds later, the mist vanished, leaving behind a chilling silence. The video has over 2 million views, but experts still can't explain it. So, next time you're at Adelaide Railway Station, look closely. You might catch a glimpse of the Lady in Grey, or feel an icy hand brush your shoulder in the crowd. 4 Fremantle Station, WA, located in the port city of Fremantle. This historic railway station is a window to the past, and possibly the paranormal. Built in the late 1800s, Fremantle Station is a stunning example of Victorian-era design, with its red brick walls and ornate ironwork. But behind its beauty lies a haunting mystery that has chilled visitors for decades. The station is famous for its ghostly child. Workers and passengers have reported seeing a young boy, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, wandering the platforms late at night. Some say he looks lost, while others claim he smiles and waves before disappearing into thin air. Locals believe he's the spirit of a child who died in a tragic accident on the tracks over a century ago. But the boy isn't alone. Strange noises plague the station after dark. Cleaners have heard giggles echoing in empty waiting rooms, and security guards report toys, like marbles or wooden trains, appearing suddenly on benches. When they try to move them, the toys vanish by morning. In 2017, a train driver shared a spine-tingling story. While stopping at Fremantle Station after midnight, he saw a small figure standing on the tracks through his window. He slammed the emergency brakes, but when he stepped out, no one was there. The incident was logged, but officials blamed it on fatigue. The station's underground tunnels add to the creep factor. Built in the early 1900s, these damp passages are now closed off. Urban explorers who've sneaked in tell stories of cold spots, whispers, and the sound of a child crying. One group claimed to see tiny handprints on dusty walls, handprints that faded minutes later. Why don't they want you to visit? While the station is still operational, its oldest sections are sealed to the public. Authorities cite structural risks, but paranormal enthusiasts argue it's to hide the truth. Staff avoid discussing the ghosts, and signs warn against lingering after hours. Yet, the legends live on. In 2022, a tourist filmed a blurry figure of a boy near Platform 2. When she zoomed in, the figure vanished, leaving only a faint laugh on the recording. The video went viral, but skeptics called it a hoax. So, if you ever visit Fremantle Station, keep an eye out. You might spot the ghostly child playing on the platform, or feel a tiny icy hand tug at your sleeve in the crowd. 5 Belgrave Station, Victoria Deep in the misty Dandenong Ranges. Belgrave Station serves as the gateway to one of Australia's most famous heritage railways, the Puffing Billy steam train. But this charming station hides a dark secret. Locals whisper about a phantom ghost train that rides the tracks long after midnight, carrying passengers who never reached their destination. The station, built in 1900, is surrounded by thick forests and steep valleys. Visitors love riding Puffing Billy's vintage steam trains by day, but at night, the mood changes. Workers have reported hearing ghostly train whistles and the clatter of invisible carriages passing through the station. Some even claim to see shadowy figures boarding a train that isn't there. The most famous legend here is the Lady of the Rails. Storytellers say she was a young woman who vanished in the 1920s while waiting for her fiancé at Belgrave Station. Her spirit now wanders Platform 2, dressed in a white gown stained with mud. Witnesses say she asks for help finding her lost love before disappearing into the fog, but the lady isn't the only ghost. In 2016, a Puffing Billy engineer reported seeing a phantom steam train racing toward him on the tracks. He swerved to avoid a collision, but the train vanished seconds later. Security cameras captured nothing, leaving the incident unexplained. The station's old tunnels add to the terror. One tunnel, nicknamed the Devil's Doorway, is said to trap lost souls. Urban explorers who've ventured inside tell stories of ghostly hands brushing their faces and voices begging, "Get out." Others report sudden drops in temperature, even on warm nights. Why don't they want you to visit? While Belgrave Station is open to tourists, access to the tunnels and restricted tracks is forbidden. Officials blame safety hazards, but paranormal investigators argue it's to hide the ghost train's existence. Staff avoid discussing the hauntings, and nighttime tours are strictly banned. Yet, the mysteries persist. In 2021, a hiker near the station filmed a strange glowing train speeding through the forest. The video went viral, but experts dismissed it as a light trick. Locals, however, knew better. They called it the ghost train, forever riding the rails of Belgrave. So if you ever visit, stay alert. You might hear the Lady of the Rails whispering for help, or see the ghost train charging through the darkness, its passengers lost in time. 6 Lithgow Station, New South Wales. Nestled in the shadow of the Blue Mountains, Lithgow Station is a quiet stop with a chilling secret. Built in 1869, this historic station was once the heart of a booming coal and steel town. But today, locals say the ghosts of miners and factory workers still haunt its platforms, trapped in a time long forgotten. Lithgow's industrial past was harsh. Miners worked deep underground, and accidents were common. Many never made it home. Now, visitors and staff report strange noises after midnight, pickaxes clanging, distant shouts, and the rumble of invisible trains. Some even smell coal smoke drifting through empty air. The most feared ghost here is the blackened miner. Witnesses describe a man covered in soot, wearing torn work clothes, staggering along the tracks. His face is said to glow faintly, like a dying lantern. Legend claims he was killed in a mine collapse in the 1920s. His spirit now searches for a way out, forever lost in the station's tunnels. But the miner isn't alone. In 2014, a security guard patrolling the station heard a child's voice singing an old mining song. When he followed the sound, he found an empty platform. The singing stopped, but the guard later quit, saying he felt a darkness watching him. The station's old freight yard adds to the terror. Abandoned train cars rust there, and locals swear they've seen shadowy figures loading phantom coal into them. Urban explorers who've sneaked in at night report hearing whispers in languages no one recognizes. One group claimed their flashlights died suddenly, leaving them in pitch-black silence. Why don't they want you to visit? Lithgow Station is still open, but its oldest sections are fenced off. Officials blame dangerous structures, but paranormal fans believe it's to hide the truth about the ghosts. Staff avoid talking about the hauntings, and nighttime photography is banned. Yet, the stories won't fade. In 2023, a TikTok user filmed a shadowy figure pushing a ghostly cart near the freight yard. The video gained millions of views, but experts called it a prank. Locals, however, nodded grimly. They've seen the blackened miner too many times to doubt. So, if you ever pass through Lithgow Station, listen closely. You might hear the echoes of pickaxes from a century ago, or spot the blackened miner's glowing eyes in the dark. 7 Picton Station, New South Wales. Hidden in the quiet town of Picton, this historic railway station is famous for its beauty and its nightmares. Built in 1863, Picton Station is one of Australia's oldest, with charming Victorian-era architecture. But just a short walk away lies the Picton Tunnel, a pitch-black passage known as the Gateway to Hell. The tunnel, built in 1867, is the heart of Picton's hauntings. Locals whisper about a ghostly bride who roams the tracks. Legend says she was a young woman who threw herself into the path of a train on her wedding day in the 1880s. Her spirit, dressed in a torn white gown, is often seen near the tunnel's entrance. Visitors claim she appears suddenly, screaming silently, before vanishing into the darkness. But the bride isn't alone. Strange sounds echo through the tunnel. People report hearing train whistles, even though no trains pass through anymore. Others hear a woman sobbing or the clatter of invisible wheels on the tracks. In 2018, a group of ghost hunters recorded a voice whispering, "Why did you leave me?" A chilling question many link to the bride's tragic story. The station itself has its own ghosts. Staff have reported seeing shadowy figures on the platforms at night, dressed in old-fashioned clothes. One cleaner swore she saw a man in a 19th century suit staring at her from the ticket booth. When she approached, he disappeared, leaving the room icy cold. Why don't they want you to visit? The Picton Tunnel is now closed to the public, with fences and warning signs blocking entry. Authorities blame rockfalls and asbestos, but paranormal fans believe it's to hide the truth. Police often patrol the area, and trespassers face heavy fines. Yet brave souls still sneak in. In 2022, a YouTuber filmed a foggy figure in a white dress standing at the tunnel's mouth. As he ran closer, his camera died. When he checked later, the footage showed only static, except for a faint glowing face in the final frame. So, if you ever visit Picton Station, stay away from the tunnel. You might hear the ghostly bride's cries, or feel her cold hand grab yours, pulling you into the darkness forever. 8 Ararat Station, Victoria. In the quiet town of Ararat, Victoria, this historic railway station hides a dark link to one of Australia's most infamous prisons, the J. Ward Asylum. Built in the 1870s, Ararat Station served as a key stop for trains carrying passengers, goods, and even dangerous criminals. Today, locals say the tortured souls of J. Ward's inmates still haunt its platforms. J. Ward, just minutes from the station, was a prison for the criminally insane from the 1850s to the 1990s. Many inmates arrived by train, chained and guarded. Now, visitors and staff report phantom screams and shadowy figures near the station's old freight yard. Some claim to hear rattling chains or see handprints on train windows that vanish seconds later. The most feared ghost here is the crying man. Witnesses describe a tall, thin figure in torn prison clothes, sobbing near the tracks. Legend says he was an inmate who escaped J. Ward in the 1920s, only to be hit by a train. His spirit now wanders the station, clutching his head and moaning, "I didn't do it." But the crying man isn't alone. In 2019, a train driver reported seeing a group of shadowy figures huddled on Platform 2. When he slowed down, they disappeared. Security footage showed nothing, but the driver refused to work night shifts afterward. The station's abandoned storage rooms add to the terror. Urban explorers who've sneaked in tell stories of sudden cold spots, flickering lights, and voices whispering, "Go back." One group claimed to find old shackles lying on the floor, shackles that vanished when they tried to take photos. Why don't they want you to visit? While Ararat Station is still open, its oldest sections are locked tight. Officials blame asbestos risks, but paranormal fans believe it's to hide J. Ward's dark history. Staff avoid discussing the hauntings, and signs warn against trespassing after dark. Yet the stories persist. In 2023, a tourist filming the station at dusk caught a shadowy figure in prison stripes staring from a boarded-up window. When she zoomed in, the figure grinned, revealing rotten teeth, before fading away. The video went viral, but authorities dismissed it as a prank. So, if you ever visit Ararat Station, keep your eyes open. You might hear the crying man's desperate pleas, or see a ghostly inmate watching you from the shadows, forever trapped in his nightmare. 9 Broadmeadows Station, Victoria. In Melbourne's northern suburbs, Broadmeadows Station is a busy commuter hub by day. But when the sun sets, locals say it transforms into a playground for the paranormal. Built in the 1870s, this station is haunted by the ghost of a lady in white, a spirit tied to a tragic accident that still chills the community. The legend began in 1962, when a young woman named Margaret was hit by a train while crossing the tracks. Witnesses said she wore a flowing white dress that fateful night. Since then, passengers and staff have reported seeing her ghostly figure standing on the platforms, her dress stained with blood. Some say she waves frantically, as if warning people to stay away from the rails. But the lady in white isn't the only mystery here. In 2018, a train driver braked suddenly after spotting a woman in white on the tracks. When he stepped out, there was no one. But his security camera later showed a blurry figure running into the fog. The footage was shared online, sparking debates about the station's haunted past. The station's underground walkway adds to the fear. Built in the 1970s, this dimly lit tunnel is known for sudden temperature drops and ghostly whispers. Cleaners refuse to work there alone after dark, claiming they've heard a woman crying or felt invisible hands tugging at their clothes. Why don't they want you to visit? While Broadmeadows Station remains open, Security guards patrol the platforms more heavily at night. Officials say it's to prevent vandalism, but paranormal investigators argue it's to hide the lady in white's appearances. Staff avoid discussing her, and reports of sightings are quickly deleted from social media. Yet, the stories keep surfacing. In 2020, a commuter live streaming his wait for a late train caught a transparent figure in white floating past Platform 3. The video froze, then cut off, but not before thousands saw it. Authorities called it a technical error, but locals knew better. So, if you're ever at Broadmeadows after dark, watch your step. You might see the lady in white waving her warning, or feel her icy presence behind you, begging you to listen. But in Newport Workshops, Victoria. In Melbourne's industrial heart, the Newport Workshops stand as a sprawling, abandoned rail yard frozen in time. Built in the 1880s, this massive complex once buzzed with workers building and repairing trains. Today, its rusted machinery and crumbling buildings are said to echo with the screams of the dead, a place so haunted even locals avoid it after dark. The workshop's darkest chapter began in 1913, when a boiler explosion killed several workers. Their spirits are said to linger, trapped in the endless maze of sheds and tracks. Visitors report hearing phantom screams and the clang of hammers in empty buildings. Others claim to see shadowy figures in old overalls, their faces blurred, wandering the rails as if still on duty. The most feared ghost here is the cursed foreman. Legend says he was a strict boss who died in the 1920s after falling into a machinery pit. Workers swear his spirit still roams the yard, shouting orders and cursing at anyone who dares enter. Some have seen his ghostly figure holding a flickering lantern, his eyes glowing red in the dark. In 2019, a group of urban explorers broke into the workshops at midnight. They recorded eerie voices arguing in the distance, though no one else was there. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the building, and their cameras captured a shadowy figure dragging an invisible object across the floor. Terrified, they fled, but later found scratches on their backs. The workshop's underground tunnels add to the horror. Flooded and pitch black, these passages are rumored to hold the bones of workers who vanished decades ago. Explorers tell stories of ghostly hands grabbing their ankles or whispers begging, "Get out," before he finds you. Why don't they want you to visit? The site is fenced off, with no trespassing signs, warning of asbestos and collapsing roofs. But paranormal investigators believe it's to hide the truth about the cursed foreman and his trapped workers. Security patrols guard the area, and trespassers face heavy fines. Yet, the legends thrive. In 2022, a drone flying over the workshops filmed shadowy figures moving in unison inside a locked shed. When the video went viral, officials called it a light trick, but former workers recognized the ghosts of their predecessors. So, if you ever pass Newport Workshops, keep moving. You might hear the cursed foreman's angry shouts, or feel the cold grip of a phantom hand pulling you into the darkness.